What's going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Here we are, guys, on a live stream. First one in a while, to be honest with you. I have missed being able to be on here with you guys and just talking some ball. I know life has been a little bit crazy. There hasn't been a ton to talk about for the Indianapolis Colts recently. I mean, there's been some, but we're kind of out of season here for the month of June and really most of July as well. So it's good to just kind of be here. Just wanted to kind of hang out with you guys, see how everybody is doing here tonight. Kind of maybe talk a little bit about minicamp because minicamp did wrap up today for the Indianapolis Colts and really don't have a ton of content until, honestly, July 22nd. So not a ton to talk about here in the next coming weeks. But wanted to just kind of talk about what we have learned a little bit here after minicamp, after OTAs, after all that stuff. So thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us, tuning in today to talk a little bit of Indianapolis Colts ball. If you have any questions or anything you want to discuss, I'd love to do that. So be sure to drop that in the comments down below. But I think in order to kind of start this off right, just want to kind of touch a little bit on what were some observations today from minicamp and just kind of go from there. And if you guys have any questions, like I said, would love to just kind of talk about those in the comments if you drop those there in the chat. But all right, let's start here with some observations from, this is Kevin Bowen, so shout out to Kevin. He always has good stuff. He's always on top of it. So a couple things that Kevin points out. Another solid day on 11 on 11 for Daniel Jones. I mean, he's certainly the couple days of minicamp, he's put together some good days. I mean, it's good to see Daniel Jones starting to find himself, and especially, you can always do stuff on those 7-on-7s, but, when you're facing an entire defense, what does it look like and how do you look like? And so certainly hasn't been perfect, but good to see that Daniel Jones has been performing pretty well. I mean, Shane Steichen even saying he's doing a hell of a job. So, yeah, I mean, great to see. I mean, Daniel Jones right away doing a solid job there. So no Braden Smith. He was dinged a little bit earlier this week. Jalen Jones has a soft tissue injury. He's missed the last couple weeks. Daniel Jones also said that the plan is to get together with some of the pass catchers sometime this summer. So that's good stuff to build that camaraderie and stuff like that. And Kevin, as you kind of dive deeper into this a little bit, this is some of the stuff that Kevin had to say as far as that. And like I mentioned, Daniel Jones, solid, nothing spectacular, nothing crazy, pretty consistent, was in rhythm, was pretty on target for the most part. And, that honestly, the consistency for Daniel Jones, that could be in his favor. I mean, that's what Shane Steichen said, right? Like the best quarterback is going to be the one who is the most consistent. So Daniel Jones certainly has been consistent so far through minicamp. Again, a lot's going to change when training camp comes, when the regular season comes, all that stuff. But as it stands right now, Daniel Jones has been pretty consistent, which is good to see. And so on Thursday, Jones with 3 of 4 had passes to Michael Pittman Jr., Alec Pierce, and Tyler Warren. Like I said, Shane Steichen said he was very, very pleased with how Jones has looked so far. He's a very smart football player. He learned the offense really quickly. He's making good decisions so far. Obviously, you want that to translate to training camp. But right now, he couldn't help but praise Daniel Jones and just his from a pro standpoint and just what he's done so far. So on that end, again, I know a lot of people don't get super excited about Daniel Jones, but at least it's good to see that he's been consistent so far. And we'll have to see, obviously, if that translates. But yeah, so that's some of the things that kept Desmond Ridder, former third-round pick, a lot of people thought was going to be the future for the Atlanta Falcons. Madden legend, but nothing really so far in his NFL career. So not a ton there, but just wanted to bring him in for an extra arm for minicamp is what the Colts described it as, but really hasn't done a ton, hasn't seen a ton of action so far. So, yeah, that's kind of there. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Thursday morning, Steichen pitted offensive line coach Tony Sprono Jr. versus Charlie Partridge, defensive line coach, to see who could field punts better. Interesting. Okay, so like I said, guys, the Indianapolis Colts are going to be off until July 22nd. So we got some time. We got a little bit over a month until the Colts will be back into the building and doing anything substantial. So they get this break. They get this month-plus break here, and we'll see exactly what happens there. I mean, obviously we didn't see any of guys like Zaire Franklin, who obviously had that ankle surgery earlier in the month. Jalen Carlisle had off-season shoulder surgery as well. Like I said, Jalen Jones had soft tissue issues. Braden Smith got a little bit dinged up. Daniel Scott, Samson Ebukam, Kwity Paye, Blake Freeland. Those are the guys that did not appear on Thursday for the last minicamp practice of the year. So we'll have to see on that, but that really does it for the recaps. Now, getting into some of the comments, let's keep going here. So Charles says, hey, hi, Charles. How you doing? Who I'm assuming Mike is saying who will be the starting quarterback for the Colts next season. Well, that's a great question. I wish I could have a crystal ball and tell you, Mike, but I mean, right now, like I said earlier, Daniel Jones has been consistent, and so far, that's kind of, if you were to make me, choose, say even Anthony Richardson was out there, Daniel Jones has probably been more consistent than Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson obviously has the big arm, he's got the big playability, but Daniel Jones is a little bit more consistent, and that is a factor from what Sykin's comments had said. Sarah says, hey, Cody and everyone, I'm pumped for the season. Yeah, crazy, Sarah. We're getting there. It's kind of the slow part of the season here, the off season here. And also appreciate you becoming a member or maybe even extending your membership. Thank you, Sarah. Do appreciate that. Warren has looked amazing. That's awesome. Oh, man, this is the first Daniel Jones account I think I've seen in our comments. So DJ is the Terminator. Yeah, it seems like it. This is Derek in the comments. Seems like Daniel Jones making a good impression at camp so far. That is absolutely right. I mean, it's sounding like a lot of positive stuff. Again, it's minicamp. We'll have to see if it translates to even training camp. Charles is here. Sarah says going to the Titans game in October. Daniel Barry says, yo, what's up, Daniel? Charles, again, will Indianapolis Colts sign another player or trade for a player? That's a great question. I was hoping that they would be all in on Jermaine Pratt, but obviously he's headed to Las Vegas, so he is not going to be a Colt. But I would still like to see them address linebacker, especially if, either Zaire or Jalen Carlisle, it affects their availability come training camp. I'd like to see them do something. I know a guy like Isaiah Simmons is still out there. Hunter Wooler seems like he's playing more safety right now, so yeah, I'd like to see them sign at least one more linebacker. I also would not be opposed if they did some work on the trenches, like they added another interior defensive lineman or an interior offensive lineman. I wouldn't mind that. But other than that, maybe safety would be the other one that I would point to right now. But again, if they feel like a guy like Hunter Wooler, who we've heard he's stood out so far, I mean, as of right now, outside of your top two safeties, you don't have a clear-cut number 3. So I'm curious to see how that plays out and if the Colts have confidence in one of these guys on the roster to be that. If not, there are still some safeties available. I mean, heck, Julian Blackmon's still available. So we'll have to see on that. Okay, so what's up, Leo? Good to see you. What's up, Hoosier Sports Network? Good to see you as well. Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, Danny Dimes, he's been available. I mean, say what you want. He hasn't been great. I mean, last year was awful. Let's not sugarcoat it. But the reality is Daniel Jones has been available and Anthony Richardson hasn't. And hopefully AR is ready to go by training camp. I'm hopeful that that's the case. But even so, he's still a little bit behind the 8 ball again because of this injury. Even if he doesn't miss any training camp at all, he's still a little bit behind the 8 ball. So, yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see if that offseason work really paid dividends for AR or if it really didn't help a ton. You're still all in on Hendrickson. I don't know, dude. With just the way that Cincinnati handles their business, I don't know if we're going to get the opportunity to get him, to be honest with you. I really don't know at this point. Oh, came over from Giant Fandom. Nice. Well, appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I honestly think, guys, this is the first time since the draft that I've done any sort of live stream like this. So I know when we started, which I don't know if there's any OGs in here, but when we started, in like 2020, 2021, we were live streaming like multiple times per week, and life's happened. I know I got married and, have just with my job, a lot of things have picked up. Right. And as well with Derek, he's getting married here next year. So there's a lot going on in our lives. We're not bachelors anymore. We don't have the flexibility we necessarily had in the past, but that's perfectly okay. That's just a part of life. But I do kind of look back on those times fondly when we were able to just devote every ounce of time we had into this channel. And so just want to just continue to, when we're available, when we're able to, pour our time and our heart and our blood, sweat, and tears into this channel, because you guys truly made it happen, and you're the reason why we're here today. I think AR could lose his job. I do think so as well. Do you think this would be the last time Anthony Richardson could play for the Indianapolis Colts after this season? Well, I think it really depends for me on, number one, if he wins the job. If he doesn't win the job, that's obviously not a great sign. But number two, how does the season play out? Because if it's another 8-7 win season, I don't think Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard are going to be around anymore. And I think the new regime will go all in on a quarterback next draft, which from all indications is a very, very loaded class from what we've heard. I think they'll go get their quarterback, and I think AR will either just be a backup on the roster or they'll just outright cut him. But they'll have no ties to him, and then he's not going to be guaranteed anything. He's not even guaranteed anything this year, but I think even more than that, it'd be hard for me to see him stay on the roster, especially if he doesn't win the job this year. So that's kind of my thoughts. But all we've seen I've seen this question a couple times about about Tyler Warren. And from all indications, Tyler Warren has looked fantastic so far for the Indianapolis Colts. And look, like we've talked about, it's kind of funny. Derek and I were talking the other day. It's like you can't please anybody sometimes when it comes to you to talk about Anthony Richardson. Either you're an Anthony Richardson glazer or an Anthony Richardson hater. You can't have a middle ground. So it tells me that since we're hearing that from both sides, we're kind of trying to play both sides and really give him the benefit of the doubt. Want to see him as, a former, a top 3 pick. We want to see him do it. But reality is, it might not actually be a reality. I'm sorry, he was actually 4th, not top 3. But you know what I mean. Like, we want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but realistically, guys, like, I kind of look at it like this. I've kind of approached it this way the entire offseason. You want to see the kid you drafted take it, but ultimately, I think more than that, you want to see the Colts win. So if you feel like Daniel Jones gives you a better chance to win, then you do it. I think that's kind of where you have to be. You want to see this team win. I think that's the best way to do it. And honestly, if you want to see these receivers like Tyler Warren, like Alec Pierce, like Josh Downs, like Michael Pittman, like A.D. Mitchell, and go on, so on and so forth, I think Daniel Jones probably gives you the most opportunity to get those guys the ball. That was kind of one of my biggest issues with AR last year. It just felt like you didn't give a lot of your receivers enough of the ball last year, especially guys like Josh Downs, who we know what he can do. A.D. Mitchell, I know he had his issues, but gosh, there were so many throws. There was multiple throws in week 1 even where he had beat the guy for a touchdown. Now, again, I don't know if he would have caught it based off of last year, but you know what I mean? Like, you just want quarterbacks that are going to give your receivers more of a shot. And Daniel Jones, at least from what we've seen so far, he may be that answer. I don't think he's going to be the answer, but he might be the answer out of the two. But yeah, I mean, we've wanted Anthony Richardson to work out. We were hyped when the Colts got him. We wanted him to work out, but the reality is he's not been healthy. He has more issues with the shoulder. Hopefully it's nothing big. It sounds like it's fine, but I don't know. I'm just kind of going into this season expecting stuff, which I never want to do, but that's just kind of the reality of it right now. So yeah, we'll have to see. It's interesting. I was kind of thinking about that the other day. Hoosier Sports Network, when he asked this question, do you think Tyler Warren will be the main focus of the offense? He was he was the entire offense last year for Penn State, right? I mean, over 100 catches. He was the guy that every single opposing defense knew Tyler Warren's the guy they're going to get the ball to, and they still couldn't stop him. And now you look at this room for the Indianapolis Colts, and you've got legitimately 3, 4, 5 targets outside of Tyler Warren that I think can make an impact. So I think he'll be a main focal point, but I don't think he will be the main focal point, if that makes sense. He'll be one for sure, but I mean, reality is Josh Downs, Michael Pittman, when they're healthy, they get the ball a lot. Alec Pierce, we know what he does down the field. You know, the reigning yak. I'm sorry, was it yak? No, it was a yards per reception. The reigning yards per reception crown winner. So shout out to Alec Pierce and AD Mitchell. I need a breakout for him, man. I tweeted it earlier. I need it like I need breath. Like I need AD Mitchell to break out. Because if he does, you legitimately have 4 receivers that are studs. And the best, by far, the best receiving core that you have under Chris Ballard. I mean, bar none, for sure. And you throw in Tyler Warren into that mix, who has the potential to be the best tight end that Ballard's ever had. I know Jack Doyle was there, but from a potential standpoint, Tyler Warren, I think, can be better. And I'm a Jack Doyle truther, man. I'm a Jack Doyle truther. So, yeah, on paper, it could be a legitimate top 10 receiving room if everything goes well. But again, you got to have a quarterback that can get them the ball. That's a big thing. So what's up, Rayan? Good to see you. Johnny says, Warren's our best receiver, our best tight end receiver for sure. Pittman doesn't go crazy. It might be time to ship him off. You know, this is interesting because I've seen so much. I'm not saying you're doing this, Andrew, but I've seen so much disrespect towards Michael Pittman this last year. And I think sometimes we forget and lose perspective that he was playing with a serious back injury all year long, and he still went out and battled through it. And yeah, he was clearly hindered, but he really started to come on near the end of the season. So a healthy Pittman, I'm excited to see. I do think he can, if he does have a quarterback that can get him the ball on a consistent basis, I think he's a clear-cut 100-catch, 1,000-yard receiver. I think he is when he is fully healthy. But we'll have to see. I just think a lot of people kind of just saw last year and didn't factor in some of the other things. So that's kind of my opinion on it. Yeah, I agree with you. I wanted Anthony to work out. It's hard. It's getting harder and harder to believe. I'll just say that. It is. And I've wanted him to work out as well. But we'll see with Daniel. I don't know with Shedeur, man. There's just so much that comes with that. I understand the talent for sure, but I don't know. I was kind of torn on it. I was honestly torn on it. I know Derek did not want him. I hope the Colts win Super Bowl for Jim. I would love that. Also, I hope the Pacers can pull it out. Up 2-1 right now on the Thunder. That's fantastic. Love to see that. Well, by the way, that's our plug. Go check out our Pacers channel. We're trying to get that up to par here. It's not quite to the level that our Colts channel is. Not even close, actually. So if you'd help us out, we'd really appreciate that. Let's continue on. Sorry, guys, if I'm lagging a little bit. Wi-Fi's been it's okay right now. All right. Many times takes us to the playoffs. Feeling really down. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of been the sentiment from what I have seen, honestly, is this is probably the least excited I've honestly seen Colts fans in a while. And there's a lot of optimistic people that are usually like, oh, man, Colts are going to the Super Bowl. Like, you'll hear that every year. But this year, I haven't heard that as much. I really haven't. A lot of people, I think, are down on this team, probably mostly because of Chris Ballard. But Chris Ballard's done a few un-Chris Ballard-like things this year. So it may be too little too late for him, because if the quarterback situation doesn't work itself out and you still don't make the playoffs, it's probably going to be the end. It really is. But of course, I said that last year, and we're still here. I think we can keep all of them. I do. Riley Lenderson is a great player. Something our team missed last year. I like the team. Quarterback that worries me. I agree. I think this team. Look, I'm not going to go on record and say this team's a good quarterback away from winning a Super Bowl, but I think you factor in all the issues last year with this team. The defense was an obvious issue. Gus Bradley's no longer here. I think he's one of the worst coordinators I've ever seen in my life. And that's saying something, because I saw a lot of crap in the Andrew Luck era on the defensive side of the ball, and just even since then as well. So the defense was an issue. So you bring in Lou Anarumo. I'm not saying it's going to be a top 10 defense, but you have a clear-cut number one corner. You have a clear-cut number one free safety. You have JT Tuimuluau, who we'll see how he factors in. Like, I think you actually have some legitimate pieces to do some good stuff on defense. Now, I still have questions at linebacker, that's for sure. But on paper, this is the deepest DB room, probably more corner than safety, that the Colts have had in a long time. And I think I want to say just from a pure depth standpoint, but also from like a ceiling standpoint, like when's the last time the Colts have had a player of Javarius Ward's caliber? Like, I don't even think Stephon Gilmore, as good as he was in 2022, he wasn't an all-pro. I mean, Javarius Ward very well could not be, but he's, 2023, when he was fully good, like he was an all-pro. So I think he has the opportunity here to be, if not an all-pro, a really, really good corner. So it's probably honestly been since Vontae Davis, rest in peace, in 2015, I think it was. So it's been a long time, all that to say. Yeah, I think, honestly, I lost there we go. I like Daniel Jones more than Richardson. I understand why. Yeah, Daniel Jones, I think realistically the Colts could win 10 games. I agree with you. Yeah, Colts got to win the division. That is true. They haven't won the division since I think I've been in high school, or maybe like my freshman year of college. It's been that long. I've been out of high school for a decade, so decade plus at this point. Yeah, I think they have a lot of talent to be a really, really solid team overall. Will Ballard be fired after the season? I think if the Colts don't meet expectations, he will. If they don't win, if they don't make the postseason, I think he will. Yeah, Jelani Woods has been out there. He's been practicing. I want to believe in Jelani Woods so much, man. Like, he is so talented. I mean, he's 6'7". He's freakishly athletic. I want to believe that he can still pan out, but dude, he's just been another one. Like, the talent is undeniable, but the injuries have just derailed his career so far. I don't know what it is with like the Colts getting these freakish players who have all the talent, and then they just don't work out because they keep getting injured. I mean, they've had 3 guys now in 2022 and 2023. 3 of those draft picks are some of the most talented players we've ever seen, and they just can't stay healthy. And that's a huge bummer. That's a great question. Confident. I'm confident in Matt Gonsalves because I do think his skill set is probably better suited for guard than tackle. Like, I thought he was fine at right tackle. I think he'll be a lot better at right guard, to be honest with you. But with that being said, I also think that the Colts should bring in some sort of competition at right guard. Like, I don't think you just hand him that, even though the Colts have basically said that at this point. I wouldn't mind like a Glowinski type of signing at this point. Just some depth. If you need it, he's probably not going to play, but if you need him to, you know that he can actually play some solid football there. I have a few questions on the depth at right guard specifically, just guard in general. I have some questions about. Now, do the Colts feel like Jalen Travis potentially could slide in, or could like maybe Blake Freeland slide into guard? I don't know. Maybe do they feel like Wesley French could play some right guard in a pinch, or Danny Pinter tried in 2022? Wasn't great, but maybe in like limited snaps he could. I don't know how they're going to go about that. But all that to say, yeah, I believe in Matt Gonsalves. I do. I'm excited to see Gonsalves, and I'm excited to see Tanner Bortolini this year. Yeah, I think that Daniel Jones is going to be better than a lot of people think. I mean, it's so easy to look at last year and just be like, he's going to suck, and he could still. But in the right system, with the right supporting cast, he could be an average quarterback. I think he could. I forgot about Dalton Tucker. Thank you for the reminder there. Dalton Tucker, he had a rough go last year, but he was an undrafted guy. Hopefully, maybe in year 2, he can develop into a solid depth guy. Yeah, for sure. That's good. Thank you for that reminder. Well, thank you to everybody who is tuning in. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell. You guys know what to do. You've been in here enough to know what to do here. We're just kind of chatting Colts here, just talking about all that. So appreciate everybody for being in here. Very excited. I agree with you, Richard. I'm very excited about this DB room. Very excited indeed. I want to pull up this. It was one of my posts from like maybe last week. Let me see if I can find it here quickly about that DB room that kind of reminded me of it. Give me 1 second, guys. Here we go. All right. I'm going to share this, and I'd love to hear your guys' reaction to it. Okay, here we go. Share screen. All right, so I'm very intrigued to see how this cornerback depth chart rounds itself out. So here's the group. You got Shavarius Ward, obviously, is going to be your cornerback one on the outside. You got Kenny Moore, your number one slot. I think Jalen Jones will be your number two outside corner. And then from there, I feel like it's anybody's game. Like Samuel Womack, I thought when he jumped in and was played as a starter, I thought he was pretty solid as that number two corner alongside Jones last year. I like Womack probably better than most people, even though he's a little bit undersized. I do like how he plays the game. So I'm excited for him. And then you obviously have Juju Brents, who, like I said, one of those talented guys that just hasn't been able to stay on the field, but maybe in a more of a limited role. Juju Brents, could he potentially contribute? I think he could. And then you got Justin Wally, who you drafted in round 3. So there's a lot of guys here. I don't even know if Corey Ballantyne's going to make the roster at this point. And he's a special teams guy. I'm kind of just like, can any of these guys play safety? Like, seriously, there's so many guys at corner right now. This is crazy. This is probably the deepest corner room the Colts have had in a long time. Long time. Justin Wally's going to be good. I don't. Where's he going to play? That's my question. Is he going to be kind of that backup nickel? Maybe, probably. I don't know what's his role going to be like this year. That was the one pick this year that threw me for a loop. Honestly, I was not expecting a corner in the 3rd round. Really wasn't. So, where do you think he plays realistically? Like, what's his role like in 2025? A complete rebuild. Yeah, I mean, I could see it. I could honestly see it, especially shipping out some of those vet players next year. If it's a whole new regime, you're not tied to these guys. You know, you want to give them the chance to go out there and compete for a Super Bowl. Sure, I could see them doing that. It'd obviously be sad to, lose guys like DeForest and Grover and, some of these other players that have been so good for this team for so long. But they deserve to win, man. And next year, if you don't feel like you're going to be in that competing window, give them a chance, man, to go win somewhere. That's kind of how I see it. So that's just my opinion, though. So I like I said, guys, I really do like this corner room. I think it's extremely deep, and I think you have the potential to have one of the better corner rooms overall in the NFL. I really think that. Okay. So yeah. Anything else you guys want to talk about here? Just kind of hanging out. Just chilling, talking Colts. Daniel Jones's interview. Where is that at? Is that online? Is that on the Colts app or something, or on their YouTube channel? I'll look it up. I'm trying to think what. I don't know if I saw that, if I caught that. Let me see if I can find it. The media availability, you mean? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, so I was hopeful the Colts would sign Jermaine Pratt. I was really hopeful. Right now, depth backers, it's kind of rough, to be honest. It's what, Segun Alubi and Liam Anderson, maybe? I don't honestly know right now. Yeah, we can watch that real quick. Let's watch that. Why not? I'll pull this up here. Colts here. Okay, Daniel Jones. Oops, hang on a second.
Daniel, it looks like, you seem pretty comfortable for a guy who's maybe still learning this offense. What's enabled you to kind of be able to get the ball out and be decisive?
I think just building up reps, the preparation we do in the meeting room, the installs, being detailed and specific about our reads, where we need to be looking and where the receivers are going to be, how we're seeing certain looks. So I really enjoyed that part of the learning process and feel like that's helped on the field. But I'll continue to learn and grow in my understanding of this offense, and then how to execute it. But I think it's been a productive spring from that standpoint.
I think the growth has gone just getting chemistry with some of these receivers, getting to throw to them and be around them every day.
It's been good. I've enjoyed working with them. It's a strong group of receivers and guys who can do a lot of different things. So I really enjoyed it. I think, certainly a lot of work to do still, but a lot of talent in that receiver room.
How similar is this offense to what you had in New York?
I think there's pieces of it that you see that are, a lot of teams run similar plays throughout the league. I think, how we think about them, how they're, how they're executed, how they're coached, all that can vary, and certainly a lot of new concepts too. So, there's some crossover, but plenty of new ideas and different ways of thinking about things. So I've really enjoyed learning that part of it.
Obviously, you came here for an opportunity to compete for the starting quarterback job, open competition. When Anthony goes down and you get more of the first team starting reps, how do you view that? Like, do you view it as like, okay, this is my chance to seize this job, or how do you go forward with that?
I think, just like you would in any situation. I think, just trying to prepare and grow with it every day. I've got a lot of work to do just learning this offense and getting used to it. So trying to focus as much on that, and then playing good football when I'm on the field at practice.
And how much of this offense for you or your approach is getting the ball to the playmakers and letting the playmakers do what they do, and how maybe beneficial is it to you to have that option?
Yeah, I think that's always the job of a quarterback, is to try to get the ball to the playmakers and get the ball in their hands, let them make the plays. So obviously there's a timing, there's a read component to how to get them the ball, but I think that's always the quarterback's job, and certainly trying to do that.
What are your early impressions of Tyler Warren since you've gotten to throw to him a little bit?
Yeah, I think he's had a great spring. He's made a lot of plays for us out here, and you can see his feel, his instincts, his strength, just ability to go up and catch the ball. And I've really enjoyed working with him. He's has a really mature approach to his work and preparation, and that's shown up on the field. So we all, the whole group's got a lot of work to do together to get where we want to go, but I think he's had a really good spring.
What do you do between now and the beginning of camp to kind of expedite that?
Yeah, I know, everyone will work a lot on their own, try to stay in communication throughout the summer, and when we can get together and work out and spend some time together. So build on what we've done here. But I think everyone has the right mindset breaking today, going into the summer and knowing that there's still a lot of work to do. We have an opportunity to work on our own and then, work together when we can this summer.
When you're the best quarterback on the team, Alec Pierce was telling us he's got to know you a little bit. He likes his game, but
Pierce is pretty good. I don't know if I can say I'm the best golfer on the team. Pierce is he's a pretty good golfer too.
When you this quarterback situation, it gets the open competition, but when AR goes down with the injury, does it just show you that you've got to be ready, and that's why you sort of tend to your business, because you never know what is going to happen elsewhere?
Yeah, I think that's always got to be your approach, and it really at any position in the NFL is preparing to play and be ready to go. So, like I said, that's there's been plenty to work on and stay busy with from my standpoint, and just learning the offense and getting here, learning the guys, learning building relationships with everyone. There's been plenty to do, so I'm just been trying to focus on that.
Daniel, do you plan to get together with the White House this offseason?
Yeah, I think we're working through, how and when that's going to happen, but certainly, hope to get together and work.
How valuable is that when you can have those sessions? Like, what do you feel like it builds?
Yeah, obviously the work on the field is valuable and chemistry, but I think, just spending time off the field and hanging out and getting to know guys, building relationships, I think that's a big component of it.
So y'all worked through some 2-minute drill stuff yesterday. What it's like to, have that success and kind of see like the ball not touch the ground, and you are able to have some of those game-like scenarios and have success there?
Yeah, I think working 2-minute drill in practice is great, and being able to get those reps. You learn the system, your first and second down, your third down, and all those change. And then 2 minutes, kind of a different mindset, a different system a lot of times offensively. So learning that and how to execute that on the ball, up tempo, certain situations with the clock. And so managing all that, I think, is great practice. And good to have some success with it.
Just remember, like, where Pitt is. He seemed excited to catch that one yesterday.
Pitt's going to remind you where he is if if you don't see him. But no, he's had a great spring too. He's been really good.
Daniel, with Alex Tanney being here, you had a relationship with him in New York. How much of a resource has he been for you, kind of disseminating the offense here and helping you out?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun working with Tanney and having that relationship, and really enjoyed working with all these coaches, with Coach Steichen, with Jim Bob, with Cam, Tanney. I think it's a strong group, and I've learned a ton just being here with all those guys. So I've really enjoyed working with them.
All right. Well, there you go. Daniel Jones. There we go. Daniel Jones talking a little bit today of media availability. I would agree with you guys. Like, I just think that Daniel Jones obviously has had more experience. He's had some success. He's had a lot of failure. But you just see the level of maturity that Daniel Jones kind of approaches it with. I mean, I'd say it, like, Daniel Jones is a really likable guy. I mean, they both are, but Daniel Jones just seems like a very easygoing guy, a guy that you can get along with, and clearly has seen, like I said, the good and the bad, and just kind of knows the right way to approach it. Now, again, I'm not going to say Daniel Jones is going to go out there and throw for 30 touchdowns, but you know what I mean? Like, you clearly see it. You clearly see that this guy knows what it takes to prepare. He knows what it takes to compete, all that stuff. So, it's just I like his mindset. I like his maturity so far. And seems like a guy that's taking it seriously and truly is could be that quarterback one. We'll have to see. But certainly from an approach standpoint, Daniel Jones is doing everything right now. So, yeah, I like Daniel Jones. I like him. I've always liked him as a person. Just talking about the players, a little bit of a different story. But I'm hopeful, man, this can be a kind of a turnaround for Daniel Jones. I really do, because obviously we know the talent is there. I mean, there's a reason the Giants took him as high as they took him. He's only 28 years old. We've seen quarterbacks resurge before. Now, maybe not to the level that Daniel Jones from the amount of games he's played standpoint, but still could. So, it's frozen again. Why does this camera suck so bad? I'm sorry, guys. Derek has to point it out every time. He just catches it immediately. But seriously, though, I'm still here. I'm just figuring this out real quick. But there we go. But yeah, I just really, and you can clearly see a maturity from Daniel Jones. All that to say. So, yeah. Yep. Anything else you guys want to watch or react to here? I don't know if Derek's going to be on at any point here, but we'll have to see. Was this a? Oh, okay. So good to see Javarius Ward also out there. That was cool to see. All right, I'm gonna put something. Yeah, my camera's been freezing a lot more recently. I'm not entirely sure why that is. It's kind of annoying, to be honest with you. I'm going to put a poll here in the chat, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this, if I can do that. Yeah, let's see if I can do this. Can I do it? Oop, give me a second. Oh, here we go. I was like, what in the world? Okay. I'm going to put this poll in the chat, and I would be curious to hear what you all would think about this. Okay. Start. So I'm going to put it up here in 1 second, just finishing typing here. Be curious what your guys' thoughts are here on who wins the starting quarterback position. Who wins the battle? Who wins the battle? Is it Anthony Richardson? Is it Daniel Jones? I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Did it show up? Okay, it did show up. Okay, so right now it looks like Daniel Jones is winning. We got 6 votes in. Daniel Jones, 83%. AR, never mind, it keeps shifting. Okay, now we're up to like 9 votes. Jones, 10 votes. Daniel Jones, 80%. Anthony Richardson, 20%. Okay. So Daniel Jones, at least right now, from your guys' standpoint, is the favorite going into training camp. That's interesting. What's up, Ty? Good to see you. Take on the Colts' future right now. I think it really comes down to, do you have even competent quarterback play? It has to come down to quarterback. I mean, that's the most important position in football, right? Like, teams can have, really good rosters, and if you don't have a quarterback, you're not going to go far. You're just not. So it's going to really depend on number one, who wins it, and then number two, like, how do they play? Do they give even the team a chance? Because we saw in 2023, like, the Colts had an opportunity with average quarterback play to make the playoffs. They were only a couple bad things away from making the playoffs realistically. I honestly don't know, man. Andrew, I don't know, because I look at it and say, you could say that for either quarterback. If AR's our quarterback, we're screwed. If Danny's our quarterback, we're screwed. I mean, you could make a case for both. You really can. So looks like through 16 votes, Daniel Jones still holds the lead right now. Do you believe in this quarterback room? See, like, can I say anything else than yes? Because I don't know if I do right now, to be honest with you. Like, I think Jones can be better than he was last year, which isn't saying much. I have a hard time believing that this is the quarterback room that's going to put the Colts over the edge, to be honest with you. So I agree, Paul. Here we are, year 9. We still don't have an answer at the starting quarterback position. Crazy. It's ridiculous. You're absolutely right. Well, that's what we get for kicking the can down the road. And then, I mean, there are so many opportunities that Chris Ballard had to get an actual legitimate starting quarterback. It's insane, actually, how many opportunities he had, and somehow took the worst route. I mean, hopefully AR proves me wrong there, but gosh, like, you had so many chances to get a good quarterback. It makes me sick almost. Yeah, no problem. I mean, like I said earlier, like, it's either, I mean, you guys see it if you watch our videos at all. You see the comments, like, it's either one way or another with people. Either we're completely, like, way too positive and glazing the team, or we're the complete opposite. And, we're haters, and we have nothing positive to say. And I'm like, no, I try to strike somewhere in the middle. Quarterback next year. Okay, look, I'm going to pull something up. Hang on a second. I know it's way, way too early, but I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to pull up the NFL draft quarterback prospects for next year, because why not? It's June of 2025. Let's do it. All right. I'm going to share my screen here for everybody. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Sorry. Okay, way too early look here. I don't know if Arch is going to, he might stay another year. So for the sake of this, we're not going to have Arch in here. So you got Garrett Nussmeier, quarterback at LSU. I've seen that name be thrown around a little bit. You got Cade Klubnik out of Clemson. You got Lenoris Sellers out of South Carolina. He's a little bit bigger. Physical tools for sure. You got Drew Aller, so Tyler Warren's teammate. You got Nico. Ooh, we'll see on that. That was the whole thing. You got Sam Leavitt. Carson Beck. Man, I remember when everybody thought he was going to be like a first-round pick. We'll see. those are some of the big names. And any of these names stand out to you guys? From what all I've heard is there's some good quarterback prospects, at least better than this last year. So, well, I think we got Derek in this with us here. Derek, feel free to hop in whenever you're ready.
Bro, your camera's frozen again.
Why does it do this?
I think it's your Wi-Fi. I'm gonna be completely honest with you.
My Wi-Fi's been a little bit buns recently. We were just talking a little bit about potentially the class this next year for quarterbacks, because we're already to that point in freaking June.
Well, I mean, yeah. Again, the idea that Arch Manning will come out this year isn't very likely. I would say I like Klubnik from Clemson. I do like Klubnik.
I've seen people say a lot about Nussmeier as well. Heard that name a lot.
And Drew Aller is an interesting one. I don't like how inconsistent he is at times, and he's much more of a vertical quarterback than a quarterback that could just break things down. But
yeah, right.
But who knows? I mean, the problem is like you're trying to base it off of you're trying to base it solely off of before the season starts, and you gotta
we have no clue. There's always guys that like nobody thinks are going to be top players, and then there's always guys on the opposite side that everybody's like, oh, they're going to go top 5, and then they're like a second or third round pick. Like you just don't know.
Like, I mean, this last draft class, like obviously Cam Ward is at the top, and then there's virtually nobody else that really garnered any great attention. I mean, outside of Arch Manning, I don't really have a ton of faith in the remainder of this class. I'll be completely honest with you.
Okay, I just want to show you something. I just looked this up because I was talking about how, we project. Oh, it did it again. Sorry. I'm still here. I don't know why it keeps freezing. It's actually really frustrating. But anyway, I was gonna pull this up here, Derek, because it's so funny. It's so funny to me how we just don't know truly, what quarterbacks are going to be good, what quarterbacks are going to suck. Like we just don't know. And I pulled this up from so in September of 2024, projecting way too early 2025 draft. So are you ready? I don't know if you're ready for this. It's kind of wild.
Sure.
Actually.
I'm ready.
Okay, I'll pull this up. First round pick. Or who do you think would be the first overall pick they have here for? I'll tell you.
I'm going to guess and say that it was Quinn Ewers.
No.
It was Carson Beck, I'm guessing.
Carson Beck. If that tells you anything right there, but we have no clue truly what is going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. You just don't. And, again, because, he got.
There it is, Quinn Ewers.
And then, of course, Quinn Ewers,
That's
third. And
crazy.
Then, it's hilarious. Again, like all these ideas of people thinking they know what they want, but nobody ever knows until it gets to the next year.
It's probably going to get worse here. Okay, Mason Graham, that one's fine. Travis Hunter, okay. Will Johnson. Shedeur Sanders at 7 to Carolina. Like, sheesh. So if that tells you anything right there about how insane it is. And Cam Ward was all the way down to 11 in this one. Wow. Well, I think we lost Derek. But anyway, all that to say, guys, we don't truly know. Derek has left us. So sad. Oh, you're back. Welcome back. I don't know what happened. And you're muted. I can't hear you.
Hello?
There you go. Okay. You were muted for a second. It was weird.
Happened. I just literally got cut out of StreamYard. I don't know what just happened there.
I have no idea. So anyway, I was just saying, like, we just have no clue, truly. Cam Ward in that draft was 11. So we don't know. Oops. But yeah, I mean, Derek, do you have anything? I know you were kind of watching a little bit. Anything you want to talk about? I touched on just some of the stuff on Minicamp. We put a poll together for who wins 51. right now, Daniel Jones, with through 22 votes, is the leader by almost double.
Yeah, I'm gonna be. Hold on a second.
Yep.
I'll be completely honest with you. If Anthony Richardson either just looks like complete and utter dog crap in training camp, or he's injured again, I believe that truly that's the only way that he's not the starting quarterback come week one.
I disagree.
I know a lot of people disagree on that, and I know that the Colts have been saying we're all about getting the best quarterback out there right now, but I'm going to disagree with that assessment. I still firmly believe that as long as Anthony Richardson is healthy enough to play, and as long as he is looking semi-competent, then I see them playing him. Because the thing that because you kind of brought it up without really realizing it, was that you said the regime might, not be here next year if the team does bad and Anthony Richardson doesn't play, right? So the problem is if you're wanting any chance of this team, or if you're wanting any chance of keeping your job, you need to have Anthony Richardson play if he's available, and if he doesn't look like absolute garbage to start the year. Now, obviously, if he starts the year and the first couple weeks he's trash and he's still completing only 50% of his passes and things are not looking good, then I totally understand the move to want to go to Daniel Jones. But my stance still is
Anthony you think they would choose a quarterback, even if he's not better, and choose to lose with him because he was their guy they drafted, rather than the guy that gives them the best chance to win? Yeah. I don't agree with that.
I understand. And I feel like that's truly what the Colts feel on the inside in the building. Well, I know that
I think that's a wise thing, but again, it's their grave. I don't know.
Because ultimately because again, that's predicated on if Anthony Richardson is even close to Daniel Jones, right? So that's what I'm saying. I'm not sitting here saying that as long as Anthony Richardson is just able to walk that and throw, that he should be the starter. But what I'm saying is if he is even remotely close to what Daniel Jones is doing in training camp, then yes, they will start him. Because, yeah, sure, Daniel Jones will probably be the better quarterback option. But ultimately, you're trying to win games, but also show to people that the quarterback that you chose is headed in the right direction. Because you're gonna hit a slippery slope, because there's slippery slopes everywhere that this regime is at, right? If they don't play Anthony Richardson and he's healthy and he's not playing, then they have a giant, target on their head saying, once again, Ballard and company cannot ever get the quarterback situation right. But at the same time, if you play Daniel Jones and this team still doesn't make the playoffs with Daniel Jones after you made that move and all that other stuff, then that for sure is going to get you fired. Because once again, you didn't play your quarterback that you drafted, and you said, we're going to go with the ultimatum and go with this other guy who we think is better. So you're already accepting that, your draft pick was a bust. And then on top of it, your team still underperforms with that said quarterback.
Well, I think it doesn't matter, honestly, who the quarterback is, because the reality is if you don't make the playoffs, you're fired either way. Like, you're fired no matter what happens, right? So that was my argument is like, I understand what you're saying about that, but I think Shane and Chris would rather make the playoffs and just punt on Anthony Richardson. I understand what you're saying about it's not a good look. You can at least say, look, we were able to win with the roster and with competent quarterback play. Yeah, we missed on this, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it could buy them more time. Now, I'm not saying that should, but it could, and that might be their mindset at this point. You know, if it gets to that point where it's like, Jones gives us the best chance to win. Yeah, he's not spectacular, and even if he looks like an average quarterback, it's like better than what we've had, you know? So it is like, but you're right. It is a very slippery slope that they find themselves in because whatever happens, if it's Anthony Richardson or if it's Daniel Jones, there's issues either way. I mean, it's like, take whatever one you want. Like, they're both not great options. So what one is the least bad option, I guess? And that's never a great place to be in if you're trying to save your job. But this is where we're at.
Well, I mean, the thing is if the Colts make the playoffs, then I'm 90% sure that Ballard and Steichen are staying, regardless of the quarterback that they put in. Clearly, that's the motivation here, is to show the Irsay daughters that, you know, this is that they have an understanding and that they can this team is built to win and make the playoffs. We just got to get the quarterback situation figured out. But my thing is like, it does. I understand the whole argument of it doesn't really matter which quarterback, but if you try with Anthony Richardson and you make the playoffs, even if you don't make the playoffs, you can at least say that we tried to make it work with our quarterback that we selected 4th overall to put us in that spot. But if you don't make it and you sit him and Daniel Jones doesn't deliver, then that's automatic grounds for firing. So, I mean, with Anthony Richardson, you at least have a cop-out. You at least have a chance at an understanding as to why your team didn't do better. But if Daniel Jones doesn't deliver, that you're all gone immediately. Like, that's what I'm thinking.
I think you're all going either way if you don't do what you need to do. I mean, honestly, like, and the hope is that Carly and the girls will be a lot more business-minded first and results-driven, which is what you need to be successful. My hope is that's the case, and if you don't do it, you're not good enough. Like, I mean, they even said it, right? The standard has not been met. Like, we haven't been where we need to be. So if you're not there again, like, dude, you're almost a decade in and you've not won anything. Yep. Like, it's time to cut the cord and just start over. And yeah, do whatever it takes for the next GM to go get your franchise quarterback. I mean, honestly, Derek, if that means, I know a lot of people won't like this, but if that means trading the farm to get to the number 1 pick, you got to do it. You got to get your quarterback. If there's a guy you truly deem worthy of that, I mean, honestly, Derek, we don't talk about this enough, but I still am so upset with Chris Ballard for sitting on his hands again in 2023 and not going and getting CJ Stroud. Like, he could have done it. He could have done it.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Traded up for the 1st-round pick even, like the number 1 pick. He could have done that, but he didn't.
He could have went up and got Justin Fields in 2021. He chose not to do that. I mean,
I love Buckner, but you should.
There's been multiple times that Ballard has had the opportunity to fix this quarterback room for the better and has flopped in a lot of different ways.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Even in 2020, the move should have been go get a young quarterback in 2020. It should have been. But you went the old route. Like, I love Phil Rivers, but you shouldn't have traded that pick for Buckner. Like, if you're truly wanting to get a quarterback, you do what it takes and you go get a guy like Justin Herbert. You got to do that. Like, that's what it requires. It requires a swing, and they just were not swinging. With, unfortunately, Derek, with years with a lot of good quarterbacks, like a lot of good quarterbacks in 2020. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's wild. I just want to have, I just want to have, semi-competent quarterback play. You know,
I just want a young quarterback that I can believe in. It's been so long, man. We've been like cursed for so long with that.
And Super Pony brings up a great option here, and it's something a lot of people haven't really talked about. Big question to me is if we make the playoffs with Daniel Jones, do we re-sign him or try to trade up for a quarterback in the draft? Well, I mean, ultimately it will depend on how Daniel Jones plays, right? We can't have another situation where like we're with like his whatever season that was, Cody, where he he had that 24 touchdowns and like 12 interceptions in however many games they had in
2022, I believe.
Yeah, 2022. That season where, he was literally scoring a touchdown a game. And, people were like, oh my God, this guy's a franchise guy. It's like, no, he's not. Like his team was literally facing like dog crap opponents. And like the defense was the main and only reason why that Giants team ever even stood a chance against anyone. So I'm not going to say if Daniel Jones plays like that, then we re-sign him. But I mean, if he can play competent quarterback and he can be an average quarterback in this league and you make the playoffs and you're looking and saying to yourself, oh, okay, we could do something with that. Then yeah, I'd totally be down to sign him and, at least keep him around. I definitely would not say that is that is the option that you should go with long term, but you should 100% try to keep Daniel Jones around while still trying to look for that franchise quarterback, though.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of how I viewed it. And I was just kind of looking at the Giants roster from 2022. You mentioned the defense, but outside of Saquon Barkley, I mean, really, what did Daniel Jones have to work with on the offense? I mean, it was a lot of like young guys that didn't really do a ton, to be honest with you. So,
oh yeah,
100%. It's like okay, like you put it like I don't expect him to be this crazy good quarterback, but this is probably the best personnel he's ever had in his NFL career. So even if he's average, you'll take average over what you've had, Derek. I kind of view it like this. I know it's not a complete apples to apples comparison. I'd be curious to hear your take on this. Look what the Vikings did. They signed Sam Darnold. They drafted J.J. McCarthy, right? They had these two quarterbacks to come in. Obviously, we know McCarthy got hurt. Sam Darnold was the guy. Like, could they do something like that where it's like you don't expect this guy to come in and be – and obviously, we saw him, Darnold really exceed expectations. But you bring in a quarterback like that who you expect to at least be competent, and you get a rookie and you kind of just try to figure it out as you go. Could that be kind of a similar situation where you have the vet, you have the rookie, and you kind of just let it play out? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, who knows how that'll play out for them? I mean, I just really wish we knew, like, whether or not Anthony Richardson is going to be the number one or not. It sucks for me. I hate this. I hate this so much. I can't believe that we're at this point. And I mean, the problem I have is I don't know like how this season really, the problem is like this season just feels like it's going to be for nothing, Cody. Cause it's like, even if Daniel Jones is like even slightly better than Anthony Richardson and this team like plays semi-decent, I mean, it's really nothing because at the end of the day, if you don't have the franchise quarterback, then none of this stuff really matters. And it kind of sucks that we're in this situation where, even if we do well with Daniel Jones, or even if we do well with Anthony Richardson well enough, it's hard for me to sit back and say that there shouldn't be some like major changes to this team. I know you said you answered somebody about a rebuild if the Colts don't make the playoffs again this year. And I mean, I'm honestly kind of at that point, like you might just go wholesale. You sell off Buckner and Grove. You sell off Kenny Moore. You go ahead and, you sign off some of your offensive linemen. You get rid of maybe one or two of your receivers. I mean, you cut losses with half your team at that point.
It'd be tough to see because I do think this roster, if you had a good quarterback, I think this is a competitive roster. That's what's hard about it, because it's like it's not like this is a bad roster by any stretch, but the reality is if you don't have good quarterback play, I don't care how good your roster is, like you're not going to win. And that's just unfortunate because it's one position is so critical. If you don't have that position down, your whole team suffers.
Yeah. I mean, I am totally in agreement that this is a team that very well could contend with the roster that it has. The only problem is you just don't really have the quarterback to back it up right now. I mean, if you put Joe Burrow with this team, I mean, this is a team that contends for a Super Bowl. It really is. I know you said that you're not willing to, put them in that stratosphere yet. But
I said with competent quarterback play, I'm not even.
Yeah.
Let's not act like it's we're a Daniel Jones or even an average quarterback away from being a Super Bowl team. I think we're an average quarterback away from being an average team, or even a playoff team rather, which is basically what the team was in 2023, right? Like with Gardner Minshew, he had his faults, but the team was a couple unfortunate blown calls from the Browns game and a drop pass away from winning 11 games right there, Derek. So I think they have enough. And that's with Gus Bradley on the defensive side of things. That's with a young cornerback room. And you didn't really lose a ton of, you lost a few guys, but you've improved your defense largely. So it's okay, if you have a defense that's even top 15, who knows? Who knows? I don't know. Yeah. It's just like the big issues outside of quarterback, I think you virtually addressed for the most part, right? What was it? Tight end was a big one. And then the defense, especially in the secondary, was a big one.
Yeah. I mean, there's still plenty of, of different things that can still be done to improve this team.
Oh, 100%.
But ultimately, the main aspect of it is that you need the quarterback to be fixed. Because obviously you have a really good running back. You have a really good offensive line. You have a pretty solid wide receiver core. And you have a tight end who you think is going to, start becoming the next great tight end for you. You have some really good secondary players. And you have some young bucks on the defensive line that you hope are going to transcend. I mean, there's a lot to like about this roster. It's just the quarterback.
Yeah, that's what's hard about it is this is a good team with a good quarterback. If they have a good quarterback or even a solid quarterback, they're a pretty solid team. They can compete. We've seen them. We've seen them compete. We've seen them go into Baltimore and compete. So I'm not going to say this team is total dog crap because they're not at all. They've got a lot of good pieces.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, we could just keep going on and on about this. And unfortunately, Derek, we're probably going to have to for a little bit here because we're not going to really have anything until July 22nd. So we've got a while, and it's going to be a little crazy. Now, fortunately, summer's a little bit crazy for us, so we're not going to be there's not going to be as much to talk about, but it's kind of the part of the off season we're in right now. So we got to talk about it. That's kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's all I had, man. I will say this. You talk about the receiving core. I think if A.D. Mitchell figures it out, this is the top 10 receiving core, no question. If he figures it out this year, you got 4 legitimate receivers, and that is amazing. If he can do that.
Yeah.
He's been doing well in camp. I mean, camp's one thing, though, and regular season's another. So I hope he continues that, man, because the dude's special. I mean, his route running and his separation, it's special. If he could just figure out the whole other part of it, I do think he can truly be a good receiver for this team. And he's your 4, which is crazy. So I'm hoping he lights it up, man.
I'm gonna start banning people who say Riley Leonard season. I'm gonna just start banning you.
Well, I mean,
you're the same people that were saying that Sam Ellinger deserved a shot. All right.
Well,
So,
if it comes to that point where it's 2022 and your quarterbacks are all dog crap, and you're like, all right, let's just tank. Might as well do it at that point, That would be the only.
I don't know who it was. There was some guy on X the other day that was talking about the wide receiver group for the Indianapolis Colts. Did you see that?
Who was
where
it?
He was saying like that he said that that our wide receiver core is definitely not close to a top 10 unit. There was a guy, he was like very adamant about it. He was saying that like at best, Michael Pittman is a wide receiver 2, like a bottom tier wide receiver 2 for most teams.
Well, whoever that is obviously has no brain cells.
Yeah, he said for most teams, he's for like some of the best teams, he's wide receiver 3, which is like hilarious to me because
I was saying it earlier.
Because if there was the Buffalo Bills, who are one of the best teams in the NFL, would absolutely kill to have a Michael Pittman on their team with Josh Allen in a heartbeat. Because you have a wide receiver in Michael Pittman who has consistently put up 1,000-yard seasons with below average quarterback play throughout the majority of his career. You have a wide receiver in Alec Pierce, who, yes, is very much one-dimensional, as he very much is, but he also is the best in the NFL at that one-dimensional thing. He just showed you that last year that it gets the most yards per catch of any wide receiver in the NFL when it comes to a certain number of catches. Josh Downs quickly ascending as one of the best slot receivers in the game already. And if Adonai Mitchell puts it together and the quarterback group isn't trash this year, then I just don't know how, like you can say that, oh, I don't watch Colts football, or, oh, I don't think any of these guys are star names. But you look at even the numbers back it up. Even the numbers would back that up, that they would be a top 10 unit. They're putting up good numbers with bad quarterback play. Could we imagine what this unit could do if you had even a competent quarterback throwing you the football? I mean, it's insane to think about.
It is. I know. Yeah, no doubt. So a lot of people disrespect Pitt, but I'm like, did we just forget? Like, he was playing through a serious back injury and he could have just been done for the year, but he played through it. And he actually, down the stretch, I thought he played pretty solid football for you. So, yeah, I mean, what's the harm? You can never have enough weapons, man. Why not? Like, continue to build those weapons up.
And Johnny, so he mentions 4 teams that he says that Pittman would probably be wide receiver 3 on: Eagles, Bengals, Rams, and Bucks. Completely disagree on the Rams pick. I don't really believe that he would be wide receiver 3. I know because they just got Devontae Adams, but if we're basing it off of last year, Michael Pittman would be wide receiver 2 or 1 right away. Yes, the Bucks, the Bengals, and the Eagles both are all 3 teams that have 2 very, very good wide receivers that clearly Michael Pittman is not needed. But everyone else, no, like it's not. There's no way. And there we go. If AD breaks out, do we pay Alec Pierce or trade MPJ?
Probably MPJ, to be honest, because
probably you do trade him.
Pierce can change the game like that.
Yeah, Pierce has the home run ability, and Adonai Mitchell is basically MPJ, but just he's just a little bit quicker than MPJ though. And
MPJ is getting a little bit up there. I don't actually know how old he is now, but
Isn't he like 27, 28?
I thought he was a little bit older than that. I could be wrong. Let me look. Yeah, you're right. He's only 27. I thought he was like 28 or 29. Anyway, he's still, I think, yeah, he's a solid receiver. I think he's better than people think. Like some people think he's not good. I think he's better than people think. But if A.D. Mitchell reaches his potential, he's going to be a better receiver than Michael Pittman. I'm just going to say it. Like he's going to be if he reaches that. Now, that's a big if because he's got to do a lot this year. But also, I think MPJ has not been done any favors. Like you said, he's had, for the majority of his career, below average QB play, and he's still been fairly consistent. So, yeah. I mean, I love all the receivers, man. I'm just excited for this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, cool, man. Well, I think that's all I had. I just wanted to hop on here and talk with people because I was telling the chat, I'm like, we have not done live streams much this year, and I'm like, when we back in the day in 2020, 2021, we were doing it multiple times per week. That was crazy.
Yeah.
We were, yeah. Also, the team was actually exciting. We were actually excited for the team, and fans haven't been super excited for the team recently.
Yeah, we'll have to see just how we'll just have to see what happens, man.
Yeah. And I guess to close this out, Paul says, go Pacers tomorrow night. Game 4.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Everybody go check out our Pacers coverage over there. We've been really trying to hit that during the playoffs. So trying to build that channel up. If you guys would help us out, we greatly appreciate that. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Anything that we talked about today that you have any thoughts on, we'd love to hear it. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Thanks so much. And as always, go Colts.